second grade and welcome to our flashcard time to start off our day. Are you ready to say them nice and loud? Okay, if you say so. Two sounds. Ow, O. One more time. Ow, O. Or. Oi. Ah. And Ah. Ah. Were. Ooh. A. Ed. D. T. I. O. Ow. Oi. You. Ooh. Good job warming up that brain. Let's go ahead with our Thursday. What's up, second grade, and welcome to our lovely Thursday. It's our last day of another great week in second grade, and today we are kicking it off with grammar. So today we're focusing on our important grammar skills. Grammar is not something we focused on quite so often, but it's super important. Remember, when we're reading or writing, especially when we're writing in English, grammar is all the rules we have to follow to write our English properly. And today, we're going to learn about another grammar rule that is going to make your writing work even better. So, before we do that, we are going to warm up our decoding brains by reminding ourselves of some words with OU and OW. Remember, OU always says ow, but OW might say ow or oh. It's going to be up to us to use our skills. So first up, what do you see? What O team is there? OU says ow. So the word is trout. Trout. A trout is a kind of fish. Awesome. Next one. What do you see? OW. OW says ow because it's in the middle of the word. So this word is growl. To growl like an animal. Good job. Up next, we've got OU says ow. So the word is, the E is silent. House. A house. A house over our heads. And next one. What do you see? OW. What does it say? It's at the end of the word. O. Remember, OW at the end of the word says O. So this word says throw. To throw a ball. Awesome. Last one. We see OW says ow, because it's in the middle of the word. So the word reads powder. Powder. Powder is when something's ground up and it's really, really fine. powder. Good job, second grade. So now that we've warmed up our decoding brains, let's check out our grammar learning target for Thursday. It says, I can identify where to place a comma when writing a list, date, or place. So today in grammar, we're working with a really, really tiny symbol, and that is called the comma. We've used commas before. We use them all the time in our writing, and commas have a ton and ton of uses in our language. And our commas are just tiny little marks. They're not even a half C. They're so small. A little tiny comma is all we're working with today, but 3 places where we have to follow some rules to use a comma correctly. And today with our commas, we're talking about lists, dates, and place. All instances when we write these things need a comma, and they need them in the right place. So awesome, people. Let's go ahead and start learning. So first up, we're going to talk about commas in a list. A list is when you name 3 or more items in a row. For example, your favorite colors. I like purple, blue, and green. That was a list. Or your favorite foods. I love pasta, tacos, and ice cream. I list 3 or more things in a row, and therefore, when we write something like that down on paper, we're going to need commas. When we're writing a list, where do these commas go? They go between, so in the middle of, right between each item. So of the items that we listed, there needs to be a comma in between every single one. Because when someone's reading or writing, we want to make sure that they're separate. The items in the list appear as their own. We're not using a period to stop a thought. We're just using a tiny little comma so our reader pauses and sees that each item in our list is separate from each other. So let's take a look at an example. This sentence says, I like apples, oranges, and bananas. So this list is talking all about fruit. And how many items are in this list? Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3. So in our 3 items, in order to make this sentence grammatically correct, we need to write a comma in between each item. So where should they go? I like apples, oranges. Those are 2 items, and to show they're separate, we need a comma right in between them. I like apples, comma, oranges. And then where else? Oranges, bananas. Again, those are 2 separate items, so we need a comma in between them to show that they're on their own. Oranges, comma, and bananas. So now, in our correct sentence, we have 2 commas to show the 3 separate items in our list. So this is the first way we are going to practice using commas today, in between a list of items to show everything's on their own. So that's the first way, Super Scholars. Let's check out the second way, and that's with dates. A date is what day of the year is it? For example, today is January 21st, 2021. If we were to write today's date on paper, we need a comma between the day and year. So between the day, it's the 21st, and the year. This year is 2021. When we write a date to separate our numbers of the date and the year, we need it right in between. So let's take a look at our example. I've written today's date on the board, January 21st, 2021. So let's see where we can properly put our comma. It's gonna go in between the day, which is the 21st, and then between the year, which is 2021. So our comma needs to go right in between them. So it's gonna go right there to make sure they're nice and separate. So who's ever reading it knows the date and the year because they see that comma right in between them. So here is our second use for an awesome comma, between the day and the year in a date. So overall we can tell commas are really separating items to make it easier for our reader to read our writing. And last but not least, our third reason for a comma is when we're writing a place. A place, when we're using this term with commas, means where in the world or where in the United States are you or is something located. For example, our school is in Los Angeles, California. That is a place. And if we were to write it on a piece of paper, we would need to write a comma between the city, Los Angeles, and the state, California. So who's ever reading it knows they're separate and they're talking about different things. So let's see. If we write out Los Angeles, California, we need that comma in between the city, that's Los Angeles, or California, the state. So that comma needs to go right in between it. So where am I going to write the comma? Between the two to separate them. So second grade, with a place to show that the city and the state, to name where something is in the United States, is separate, we need a comma to show that on paper. Okay, Super Scholars, so we have learned about 3 ways to use commas today. A list, a date, and a place. And we are just about to use our Super Kids workbook to practice these skills, but you know we can't do that until we move our bodies in this or that and give ourselves a little break. So come on, stand up, and I have a silly little question for you. Are you standing? So, what would you rather drink out of? If you had to choose one and you could only drink out of one of these things, what would you choose? A big bucket or a pail? If so, you're going to do 5 jumping jacks. Or a baby bottle. If so, you're going to do 5 running jumps. That means you're going to just jump like you're running. So you got a choice. If you could only drink out of one of these items, a bucket or a baby bottle, what would you choose? I would choose a baby bottle because it'd be way less messy. So I'm going to do 5 running jumps. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nice and quick. That's it. And as you sit right back down in your seat, you're going to get out your workbook and you are going to find page 63. So we're going back a little, but it's page 63, all about commas. Okay, second grade. So as you get out page 63, you're going to see there's 2 different sections. Up top, we're focusing on using a comma with lists. And down below, you see we'll use commas with a date and a place. So we get to practice all 3. We're going to do a couple of each together, and then of course, I'll send you on your way. Okay, so can we all come up to number 1 at the very top? Number 1. So in this sentence, there's going to be a list of items, and it's up to us to write a comma in correctly. So let's see. Alec did not speak Spanish, French, or Chinese. Okay, what items were lists? Where is the 3 items in a list? All the languages right here on the end. Spanish, French, and Chinese are all languages, and they were written next to each other in a list. So in these 3 items, where are we going to put a comma? Commas go in between every item. In a list, a comma goes between every item. So where should we write them? Between Spanish, French, and then between French or Chinese. Make sure your comma's going right after your second item. Spanish, comma, French, comma, or Chinese. To show that each language is separate. Good job. Okay, let's try the second one all together. As I read this sentence, you're looking for where is the list. Alec played soccer with Sal, Tick, and Lily. Okay, what items were lists? What do you see? Where's the list? It's right at the end as well. And this sentence lists super kits. But to make sure that our reader knows each super kit is separate, where are we going to put those commas? They need to go in between Sal and Tick, and then in between Tick and Lily, right in between Tick and Lily, so we can really show they're separate as well. Awesome. Good job, second grade. We're off to a great start with our lists, putting a comma in between each item. So now you're not going to erase, but I'm going to scroll down as we look at the bottom half of our page. So now I want you to move your eyes and your pencils down here to number 5. So in this section, we have 2 dates and 2 places. We're going to do just half of them together so we can be ready to do our own work. Okay, Super Scholars, can we look at number 5? Number 5 says October 31st, 2017. So this is a date. In a date, we need to put a comma in between the day and the year. So where could we put a comma here? In between the day and the year. Right after 31. October 31st, comma, 2017, to really show the difference between the date and the year. Good job. Okay, last one all together. Number 6. Can we look at number 6? This is a place. It says Flagstaff, Arizona. This AZ is the initials for the state of Arizona. So if we're writing a place, where is a comma going to go? In between the city and the state. So we're going to write the comma, where's it going to go? Right in between, right after Flagstaff. After the city, but before the state. So now we have Flagstaff, comma, Arizona. Okay, awesome people. That is the end of our practice together with lists, dates, and places. Always remember, your commas need to go in between to separate each item from each other to make it easier for our reader. So now, you are going to have 2 items to do to finish your grammar today. Okay, so everybody has 2 steps today for their Thursday grammar lesson. Number 1, you're going to finish page 63. That's the page we were just working on. There's only a couple. You're going to finish page 63 and then take a picture to post on Class Dojo. All you need to do is take a picture of your completed page to show me your comma work. So step number 1, finish page 63 and snap that quick picture on Class Dojo. When that is done, you're going to head over to Super Kids Online Fun and you're going to take your Unit 5 assessment. Just like we've done before, you're going to log on to Super Kids with the Sunshine app, and as soon as you log in, it's going to start your Unit 5 assessment. You need to complete that all the way to where it says finish to finish step number 2. So you've got 2 things to do today. Page 63, all the way done, and so I can see. And then step number 2, go on to Super Kids and do your Unit 5 assessment and check it off for this Thursday. Okay, 2nd grade, you've got 2 pretty quick things to head over and do. So let's get started, and I can't wait to see what you got.